is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Academy, and today we are going to be covering Shopify. So I'm excited about what we're going to be covering. This is a new favorite topic of mine, so let's get started. So my name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm the co-founder and the creator of eCom Sellers, LLC. We own most all things e-commerce, eCom Sellers related. eCom Sellers Academy, Mastery, Mastermind, Summit, eCom Q4 Summit, eCom Minute, and so many more. I've been selling online since 2014. That's when I started my eBay store. However, I was selling on Craigslist because I used to have garage sales all the time to raise money for my kids' therapies. And I ran a candy vending business. I started it in 2008. So that is my selling history. Probably sold on Craigslist from around 2010 until 2014. So I did make some money on Craigslist. I'm a single mom of 2 special needs kiddos, and that is why I do this e-commerce thing. So the assumptions about this workshop is that it's being taught from a new seller perspective. This is assuming that you've never had a Shopify store, you don't have one, and that you don't know much about Shopify. And this workshop is specific to Shopify. So we always talk about mindset on every workshop, and we always want to remind you that this is your business. You're making all the decisions. You're in control of the business. Now, when I say in control, we don't always have control over some things that happen, depending on which platforms we're selling on. But we make the decisions on what to sell, what to list, what the price is for those things, or what to source, where to source, all of that. So this is your business. You're making the decisions, especially when it comes to your Shopify store. You should always establish a budget on any platform that you happen to be selling on. You should always have a budget defined or established. Having a budget is going to help you stay on track and help you stay focused on whatever your goal that you're trying to achieve. And that includes establishing a budget for your spending budget, but also what is it that you hope to accomplish when it comes to your business? What are the sales? What are the projections that you're hoping to get to? What's your metrics that you're measuring this by? I always encourage you to establish a schedule so you can work on your business. So you can have dedicated time to focus on the things in your business that are going to help you grow it, scale it, turn it into something amazing. But building a schedule is extremely important. I also encourage you to plan what you're going to be doing in your business, plan what you're going to be sourcing, plan how you're going to be sourcing it, plan for the next 3 to 6 months. We know there's a lot of stuff that's coming up in the next 6 months. We'll be into the thick of Q4. So again, doing planning now is going to help you in the future. And any plan that you put together, make sure that you stick with it. Give it a chance to build results, produce results. So stick with it for at least 3 months to see what happens. And then if you're not seeing the results, sometimes you just need to make adjustments and try another 3 months. But again, give it at least 3 to 6 months. What's your plan for the next 3 to 6 months? And then be consistent in your business. Consistency is the key to anything and everything when it comes to selling online. All right, so by the end of this workshop, you will know what a Shopify is. You'll also know what a niche is. We're going to talk about things that you need to consider when setting up your store. There's quite a bit there. We're going to talk through how to set up your store and how to promote your store. But today we're going to focus on what is Shopify, a niche, and what to consider. And then we will talk a little bit about setting up your store. We'll start into it. It's kind of long. So what is Shopify? So Shopify is a storefront where you create a store to sell products online. So an example might be you might create a storefront to sell dog leashes, fishing rods, tennis shoes, wall clocks, auto parts, Christmas, everything. So you could have a Shopify Christmas everything store where you sell everything soup to nuts. And that is a Christmas general store versus a specific niche. And we're going to get into niches in a little bit. And it's like creating your own Walmart, Target, or Kohl's indirectly, but you're focused on a single product or a variety of products. There are Shopify stores out there where they've only got 1 or 2 products in their store, and those are their specialties. And then there are Shopify stores that are more general but they're not a full general store like a Walmart or a Target. So the example I would use is maybe you have a Shopify store where you're selling auto parts, not a specific auto part, but some auto parts for different types of cars. If you're niching down or you're selling for a specific car, or you have parts for a specific car, that's a niche. Or if you're only selling specific parts, period, that's also a niche. So selling auto parts, that's a general store. Selling Christmas everything, that's a general store. Selling baby everything, that's a general store. Niching down and just selling a specific thing, there's a lot of stores where they sell a single item that they specialize in. So why should you sell on Shopify? Shopify is a great platform for a variety of different products and different business models. So if you make things like maybe you make soap, maybe you make candles, maybe you make face scrubs, any of that stuff, you can sell your handmade products that you make yourself, or maybe you have ordered them from a company that makes them, someone that that's really good at that stuff, and you can sell them. You can also sell wholesale, ordering products from a wholesale supplier. So if you already have wholesale accounts established because you're selling on Amazon or eBay, or you're selling on Walmart, you could sell those same products in your Shopify store. And Shopify does have an integration already established between Walmart and also with Amazon and eBay. So there's integrations that already exist. There's Shopify apps to allow you to do that. And then drop shipping. Drop shipping is another model for Shopify. It's a great opportunity for you to, do an integration maybe with Shopify, but it's a great platform just to sell a variety of different products, and it can handle different business models. There's also print on demand. So print on demand is another one. That's another business model that, again, Shopify can handle whatever business model you have, whether you're doing handmade, wholesale, drop shipping, or print on demand, it can handle all of them. So here's some general information about Shopify. One, it's easy to set up. It is fairly, I say easy, it's probably should say it's simple to set up. There's some stuff involved. So it is simple to set up. I won't say easy. I did write easy though. There's going to be some things you have to do. Shopify will host your website. So that means you don't have to pay for any additional hosting. They'll host it. So if you want your own domain, then of course you want to buy your own domain. Shopify has a clear dashboard that you can use to help manage your store, to set it up and to manage it. They also provide a list of free themes. Themes are the look of your Shopify store versus paid themes. Again, paid themes are specific styles with specific features, whereas free themes are whatever Shopify is giving you the option to use. And there's a lot of great free themes out there. My son chose a free theme for his Shopify store. They have an infinite number of, you can sell an infinite number of products, and you have database space. So it has the capacity to handle whatever you're trying to attach or link into your store, the products that you want to sell. So you're not limited on what you can sell, even though there's a lot of Shopify stores out there where they've only got like 5 or 6 products, or maybe they got 20 products. You have the ability to put a boatload of products in your Shopify store. So you get site stats with your Shopify store, lots of reports that are available to you. In addition to that, they have free and paid apps. So the apps actually control some of the features that are going to make your store stand out, features and functionality that you want to be available on your store, or things you want your store to be able to do, different integrations. And so those integrations are all called apps, Shopify apps. So there's a lot of free apps that are available with Shopify, and there's also paid apps. They also offer 24/7 customer support, so you can always get help with your store. They are integrated with social media very nicely, especially nowadays with Google. Definitely have a strong integration with Google because they want your products to come up naturally in the search engine. So I think that is great for those people that are not as good at keyword research or whatever titling, then being able to have your products be found because they have a great integration with Google is helpful. They also have, they're integrated with Pinterest and Facebook. So you can do flexible point of sale. You can sell online or you can sell in person. So during the pandemic, a lot of people were using Shopify as their front end if they were a brick and mortar and didn't have a website or didn't have a way for people to buy their products online. They quickly created Shopify stores to get their products online so that people could buy them. And then when people came into the store physically, then they could buy them using, again, it has the flexibility. You can attach Stripe and Google Pay, Apple Pay. I'm trying to remember the other one. That's very common. Not Stripe. Oh, where's the other? I see. I can't think of the name right now. But anyway, I'm sure it'll come up on the payment page. And they also have a helpful community that can direct you, help you find solutions to whatever your problems are. The community is great. So getting started with Shopify, you have lots of support available to you. So when you get ready to get started on your Shopify store, you have to make some decisions. You have to decide what is your business model going to be for your Shopify store. We talked about a couple of business models. We're going to talk about them again. What is your niche or audience or keywords that you're going to use on the Shopify store? What is the product research? What are the products after you figure out your niche? What are those products that answer that niche or provide a solution to that niche? What type of branding you're going to have for your store? There's going to be store setup that you have to complete, things you have to do. There's going to be marketing and analysis. How is it going? Are you getting sales or are you not getting sales? So these are all part of the beginning steps of setting up your Shopify store. So your store models, again, you have a niche store versus a general store. Again, I talked about the Christmas tree, Christmas everything. So a niche would be a fly fishing store that focuses 100% on fly fishing. Nothing else. That's a specialty. Fly fishing. Barbecue gadget store. So again, that store would have only barbecue gadgets in it. And a political store that sells T-shirts. Specific. Versus a general store that focuses on a specific, topic. So a pet store is a good one. A trendy store that's selling trendy, popular stuff that's specific to things that millennials might be interested in buying. A supplement store, Christmas everything was the example I had before. A print-on-demand store versus a drop shipping model. You could set up a print-on-demand store where you have shirts and car seat covers and bags and sweatpants, or not sweatpants, workout pants. Well, you have sweatpants, tennis shoes, all of these things you can do print on demand, coffee mugs. And you have drop shipping as an option as well. If your store model is going to be a niche versus a general store, is it going to be print on demand versus drop shipping? So are you going to drop ship? You can drop ship from Alibaba or AliExpress. You've got so many different options of things that you could drop ship. Survival gear, jewelry, hunting gear. These are all things that you can drop ship directly from the supplier or the vendor, the distributor, and they are sent from them directly to your customers. Okay, same thing with print on demand. They are produced wherever they're produced. So if you're doing Printify or whatever, they are produced with your manufacturer and then shipped directly to your customer. And then a one store product versus a multiple store product. A single store product would be a store that only sells a specific thing. So cell phone accessories, we would niche that down to like only iPhone cell phone accessories, and maybe it's a specific iPhone. So it's a singular product, and maybe it's for the iPhone 12 Max. That's all they do is sell cell phone covers for the iPhone 12 Max. You can have that kind of store. A gun safe store is a specific product. Maybe you have a few different gun safes, or maybe you only sell one gun safe, and that's it. The whole store is that one thing. Body shapers. So you might sell the body shapers in different sizes, but maybe you don't sell them in different colors, just one size and one color, or multiple sizes, multiple colors, but just those body shapers. A combination store, again, we talked about a couple of different things. So you could have a niche store that sells not only drop shipping and print on demand products or wholesale, Maybe you're using a wholesale supplier. You've shipped some things maybe to a prep center, and they are helping you to fulfill the orders. So there's a couple of different combinations, and you can have a combo store where some of the items on your store are print on demand, some of the items on your store are drop shipped, and some of the items in your store may be shipped a different or handled a different way. The next is, oh, we've gone up. Okay. So the next thing is to figure out what your niche is going to be. So your niche is a segment of a larger market that can be defined by its own unique needs, preferences, and identity that makes it different from the market at large. An example of that would be the dog leashes. We could say that we're going to sell dog leashes, and maybe we niche down and we say we're niching down even further, because we could say we have a pet store and we're selling things for pets. We could niche down and say, okay, now I'm not just going to have a pet store, I'm just going to have a dog leash store. And then to niche down even further, I'm only going to have a dog leash store for small dogs, or I'm only going to have a dog leash store for big dogs. That is a niche. Every time you have to break down a segment of a group of products or people that need a specific thing or want a specific thing, and you continue to break it down, that is called a niche. That's niching down. Another example is we talked about gun safes before. So maybe there are specific gun safes for a specific gun. And that may be the only thing you do is you sell a gun safe for a specific type of gun. If you're going to do a Christmas everything store, to niche that down even further, maybe you're only selling Christmas stockings, or maybe you're only selling Christmas tree decorations, maybe desktop Christmas trees. And all you sell is desktop Christmas trees. You can niche down even further. Desktop Christmas trees that have the lights built in, and desktop Christmas trees that don't have anything built in. So you can break that down even more. So an example within the market of women's shoes that you can niche down is women's vegan shoes. And that's a niche market, like people who like vegan shoes. Within there, you may have plus size women, you may have nurses, you may have transgender. So you have to make sure that when you're down, you got to get some information. Things that will help you as part of this whole niche research. There's different tools. Google is a great tool to help you do some of this research to figure out, what is this specific audience potentially looking for, searching for, buying, what are the things that they need or want. And then that way you can decide, okay, once I figure out what my niche is going to be, I know what kind of store I think I want to have. I want to maybe have a drop shipping and a print on demand store. Maybe I'm doing a wholesale. Maybe I'm doing subscription boxes. Okay. What type of store do I want to have? Then I figure out what the niche is going to be. And maybe my niche is going to be focused 100% on small dogs. So if my niche is going to be on small dogs, what is the product that I'm going to sell? What is the pain point or the problem that people with small dogs have? Well, sometimes they're getting out of their leash. Sometimes they can get in between stuff. They can get in between your gates. They can crawl up under stuff. They can get out. And so that's a small dog problem, people with small dogs. So what are you going to do to solve that problem with people with small dogs? Maybe, there's a problem with maybe cutting their nails. So trimming them, grooming small dogs, they kind of get slippery. They get away from you. Maybe you even niche it down even further to small dogs with little to no hair and small dogs with a lot of hair. So they have to be groomed all the time. What are some of the challenges of people that have small dogs that have to be groomed all the time? So you want to figure out, get some information about that specific niche. You want to find out what's their pain point, and then what are some of the products, who are the suppliers that have those products that maybe, just maybe, you can use to help solve that problem. What's the demographic? Is there a specific age group? Is there a specific gender? If it's very general, then fine. But if you niche down, as we're talking about women's shoes, then we're down to just women and women who are working. Maybe we're talking about nurses' shoes, so we can niche down even further so that you could create a website that's just for women's shoes, women that are nurses, like female nurses, period. Choose to solve a problem. What's their problem? Standing on their feet all day. That's one of their problems, standing on their feet all day. And then what else do we know about this particular audience? What is like, are they okay with inexpensive stuff or do they want some high quality? If I'm standing on my feet all day, I do not want cheap shoes. So it has to be premium because you need the level of support that's going to help you not have back problems or leg problems or whatever else later on. So it has to be a quality product. Can't be necessarily handmade. Psychographics. So one of the things, like, is there an interest that they have, nurses have? Are there any specific values or attitudes that they have? So nurses are there. They're clearly people who have gone into be nurses or gone into the nursing industry are there because they care about people. Sometimes it's about the money, but most of the time it's about the fact that they like serving people. They like serving the community. They like being of help. And standing on their feet all day is probably painful. So having a solution that gives them relief on their feet, relief in their body, that's what you want to find out. And again, they're typically compassionate people who care about individuals. Geographics, where are you selling? So that's one of the decisions you have to make as part of your research in your niche. Are there specific shoes that sell? Maybe there's shoes that are more airy in parts of the country where it's hot all the time versus in parts of the country that actually go through full seasons. So maybe there's a different type of shoe you sell in those areas. So think about all of those things. What's the price that people are willing to pay for comfortable shoes if you're going after nurses, female nurses? What is that? And then you need to find keywords, 5 to 7 keywords around your niche that describe your store, describe your product, describe everything. So you're going to use those keywords to help you either potentially brand or name your store, or in other things that people are searching for. You're going to use those keywords in other places throughout your store. So figure out what your niche is going to be. Once you figure out what your niche is, now you got to find some suppliers. Who has these shoes that nurses can wear that are extremely comfortable? You can go after Alibaba, AliExpress. You can go after some other suppliers. You can go after maybe shoes.com. Go see what's available. Go see what's out there. Just Google reviews on extremely comfortable shoes and find out which name brand comes up first for extremely comfortable shoes. What are they saying? So if you're looking for suppliers, that you can go with third-party suppliers, Alibaba, AliExpress. You can go with automated suppliers or have a way of automating your process, meaning they have an integration with Shopify and also potentially with a drop shipper, so that when people buy from your store, it can automatically be shipped to the customer. So Aberlo is one of them. Dropify is another. Sprocket is another, to automate aspects of your business once you decide what your niche is going to be for your Shopify store. You can go with print-on-demand suppliers. There's several of them that integrate directly with Shopify. And again, this list right here is by no means the entire list. There's so many different manufacturers and suppliers that are, available to you for your Shopify store that are not listed here. And then wholesale, whether you're doing in-house fulfillment or whether you are technically drop shipping, meaning that supplier has an integration with your Shopify store. So as orders are placed, they get notified. They're able to pull and ship, packet pull, whatever, your products to ship to the customer for you. So looking at some of the wholesale suppliers, and this again is not by any stretch of the imagination, all the wholesale suppliers out there, but it's a start. If you're going to go with AliExpress, I want you to kind of look at the AliExpress dropshipper dashboard, because it's going to give you some information about the suppliers over there. You want to review their ratings. You definitely want to review their product ratings as well. So the supplier could be a great supplier, but they sell crappy products. Or it could be a horrible supplier, but they have great products that have great reviews. And what is your shipping method, and how long, are you allowing yourself to get that item shipped or pulled to go to your customer? So you need to look at those things when it comes to Alibaba and AliExpress. There's some additional ones that are free tools to help you with drop shipping ideas. So there's Ali Insider, Ali Extractor is paid. Sell to Trend, you can do a 7-day trial for that. Dropship Spy is paid, and then eCom Hunt is free, but they also have a paid version. But using that to help you do some product research, you need to be looking for products that have good reviews from sellers that have good reviews as well. Are they fulfilling their orders in a timely manner? And look and see how long that AliExpress seller has actually been online. So make sure you do that research. If they just came online 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, probably not a manufacturer, supplier, or vendor I want to use. I want to use someone that's been doing this for a while. Okay, so before you create your store, the other thing you need to be thinking about is doing some research on your potential competition. So doing research on your competition is always helpful. Why? Because it can help you, help inspire you on what you're going to do in your store. So before you set up your store, go look at 4 other Shopify stores where they're going to be selling similar or related products. Maybe if you're doing cell phone covers, maybe there's another store, Shopify store, that is doing, I don't know, selling the cell phones. Or maybe they're doing iPad covers or Kindle Kindle book covers, things like that. So go look at their store, look at the menus, look at the navigation, look at the colors that they chose, look at the menu options, and make notes. Again, we're not trying to copy them by any stretch of the imagination, but looking at another store can give you ideas about, maybe I want my menu on the side instead of at the top. Maybe I want, specific things to show up at the bottom of the page. Maybe, and so this gives you an idea just to kind of get a look for, they're already selling baby stuff or they're already selling shoes. Let's look at this Shopify store and let's reverse engineer it. Let's make some notes about how we want our store to turn out or how we want it to look. The other thing you're going to need before you set up your Shopify store is you need to have an address, a physical address. So you can get one from USPS store. Used to be mailboxes, etc. You can get one from the UPS store, USPS. So you can get a PO box from there. You can also look into sites like Anytime Mailbox or Virtual Postmail. Those are options where your mail could be shipped to their address, and then they'll scan it and take a picture of it and send it back to you, so you can determine whether or not you need to keep it or shred it or whatever it happens to be. You're going to need an email account for your Shopify store, your Shopify site, because your customers are going to want to potentially reach out to you depending on how they find you and any questions that they might have. So you want to buy a domain, and we have domains listed last, but you want to buy a domain so that way you can get an email address with that domain extension. That's going to make you look more professional. It's going to make you look real and not something that just got thrown up overnight and it's a fly by the seat of your pants kind of store operation. Where they're like, I don't even know if this thing is going to get shipped to me. You also want to have a phone number solution. A Google Voice account will work. Also, Grasshopper Google Voice is free. Grasshopper account is an option that's paid. And you can also look for an 800 number that you want to display on your site instead of a local, whatever the phone number happens to be. So your store name, when you create your Google store, the one thing I will tell you is do not create or do not buy your domain through Shopify, because then you don't own it. What if your store takes off like gangbusters? Maybe the need is so strong. You've done all this research and the need is so strong, and someone potentially wants to approach you and buy it. Well, you don't own the domain if you buy it through Shopify. So I always recommend you buy your own domain. Don't buy it through Shopify. The next thing is make sure that you use the right naming extension. So .com is the most popular in the US. It's the most commonly used in the US. So if you can get a domain with the .com on it, that's going to make things a whole lot better, increase your legitimacy of your Shopify store. So you want to also make sure that whatever the domain name is, that and you can think long-term or short-term about what's going to happen to this. If this thing becomes popular and somebody wants to buy it from you, what are you going to do? How's that going to work? So keep that in mind when it comes to your Shopify store. If it becomes extremely popular, somebody might buy your store because they don't want to start from scratch. They don't want to begin from the end. So keep that in mind. Then the next thing is make sure that the name is short. Having long names for your stores is not going to be helpful. So have a short name for your store. You don't want to make it so long and so complicated that people can't even remember it. So have you ever been told something and you're trying to remember it and then your kids interrupt you? It's like, Mom, where's my socks? And you're trying to remember. I don't know. So sharkfinders.com. I'm just making up something off the top of my head. And so you're trying to remember sharkfinders.com, sharkfinders.com, sharkfinders.com. And you're literally over and over and over again saying it. And then your kids come up and say, Mom, when's dinner? I can't find my shoe. Mom, blah, blah, blah. And then you just cannot remember what was the domain you were trying to remember. Again, if you make it short, catchy, it'll make it easier for people to be able to find you. It'll make it easier for people to be able to come by your if they want to buy your domain or remember to buy from you, they can tell their friends, they can tell your friends, hey, here's a domain for this particular site where I bought these, whatever it happens to be, these socks, these baby bib, whatever it happens to be. Then the next thing is, and also make sure it's easy to pronounce. It's easy to remember, it's easy to pronounce. Don't name it with hyphens or numbers. That's not good unless it makes sense. So an example would be 23andMe. 23andMe is the domain. And so 23andMe makes sense to have a number in front of it if it serves the purpose the product is. So that's a good one that would work. If you're going to have if you're going to name it a number. So if yours is, I don't know, 365, what's a good thing? 365 batteries. Okay, I'll go with that. So you have batteries that last a very, 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 very long time. So 365 batteries makes sense because your batteries, they'll last for an entire year if that's part of the concept of the brand that you're trying to create, the name of the product and the brand. Then the next thing is include your niche words, whatever the niche words are. So when I just came up with off the top of my head, 365 batteries, that one, again, people might be looking for batteries. So that's an easy one. That's a key word. People are searching for batteries, so that makes it easy. They want batteries that last a long time. So the long tail keyword might be long lasting batteries. So those are all examples of including the keywords somehow into the website. And then you want to also capture the long tail keywords that you're going to use when you create the listing or whatever the products happen to be. Then you're going to research similar domain names. That way you can hopefully minimize any confusion. So if there is another one that's 365, bats, you probably want to go look at it and see if there's any way that anybody can confuse the two. Just came up with something off the top of my head there. You also want to make sure that it's not trademarked. So whenever you buy a domain, you want to use it long-term and maybe have somebody buy your business. If you market it well and you get a lot of sales, they'll approach you like, I'd like to buy your store. Or you may put it up for sale yourself. So get it trademarked. And then if you're looking for domain names, you can use any of these domain name generators to help you come up with a domain name for your business. The other thing is to think about logos and colors for your store. There's different tools that you can use. You can get a branding kit inside of one's available inside of Canva. So you can use that. Branding kits are always awesome because it saves you a whole bunch of time and trying to figure out the colors. Because remember, we want to go look at as one of our assignments to go look at similar stores. And so looking at similar stores, you might find that whatever the product is that you're selling, most of them have a store with a white background, and maybe they're using peach colors, or maybe they're using lime green colors, or whatever the colors are. And so you want to make sure, not that you want to be identical to them, but if there is a correlation to your product and these colors associated with it, then you want to have some similar versions of colors. So keep that in mind. A branding kit can help you with what's the font for your products, what's the font for your website, what's the, creating a logo, what's going to go on your packaging, especially if you're doing any type of white label stuff. And then always do research on color psychology. It's going to give you some insightful information that'll help you make some decisions around the colors you want to use on your site, and also the colors that you want to use in your packaging. All right. So social media, the next thing you want to do, and when it comes to your Shopify store, is if it's something that you're really going to use, like this is going to be maybe your lip balm, or you really are going to sell nurses' shoes, or you're going to sell dog leashes for small dogs. So this is your jam, this is your thing, whatever the name is of the domain, make sure you get all the social media assets. Social media assets are your real estate online. So it's extremely important that you get them all, you secure them. You don't want people to have to figure out, if you're selling 365 batteries, and they have to go search for 365 dash batteries, or whatever the name of it is, and they have to use a dash, or they got to use an underscore when they try to find you on social media. Will they be able to find you eventually? Yeah, if there's similar enough. But if you had to name it something completely different because someone took that domain name, then you're going to be frustrated. So keep that in mind. Get all of the social media assets, which in real estate, and park them until you're ready to do something with them. It may take you a year to figure out how to successfully run and tweak your Shopify store if you're doing it all on your own. And it could take you 6 months or whatever. And you may not do anything with your social media until later. Or, you could go ahead and knock out the social media, get yourself banner pages, and all that stuff, and then cross-list your products from your Shopify store onto all your other platforms. All of your other social media. So we're going to talk about what's going to be involved in creating your Shopify store. So you're going to sign up for Shopify. You can go to www.shopify.com. You'll click on create an account, and you'll click on create or start a free trial, that button. Once you do that, you got to have a store name. So that was we did some research on what's the domain I'm buying. What is the domain that I am buying? And make that your store name. Or if you want the domain to be completely different than the store name, that's fine as well. Make sure you enter in all your details, your name, your address, your country, your contact number. So before, we created all those things, and now you're getting ready to use them. What are the products that I'm going to be selling? So when you first come to this page, you're going to choose that I'm just playing around, because you maybe haven't solidified the products that you're going to sell. Maybe you have. Maybe you already know what you're going to sell in your Shopify store, and then go from there. So I'm going to go through probably about the first 5 or 6 pages of setting up your Shopify store. And then we will come back next week and finish this out. I will also talk about, some marketing strategies and some other things you have to think about. So this is Shopify.com. You're going to go here to create your account. So start the free trial. You will type in your email address and assign a password to populate the store name. Then then click on create your store. Once you do that, you're going to choose the drop down here. It says, for right now, I'm just playing around. Okay. Then after you go ahead and indicate that you're just playing around, then you can go to next. This is where you're going to put your name, your address. This is all that stuff that we set up first somewhere, whether we set up a Google Voice account, set up our email account, got our domain. This is the stuff that's going to be attached to your store. Can you put this in later? Can you edit this later? Yeah, you can. You can change it all later. But again, I recommend you do it first. So hopefully it's set up right. And especially if you're going to be using like any of the Google assets, like if you bought your domain through Google, which you can, if you're going to use Google Voice, if you're going to eventually maybe record some videos, so you'll have a YouTube channel, then you want to make sure that you set up your Gmail account with your business name or your brand name or your domain name. And that way you'll be able to create a YouTube channel with that as well. And you won't have to name it something different or weird. So you're going to enter your information. Then after you do that, it's going to automatically take you to this page where you select the plan. I always recommend that, because we're doing a trial, that you choose the $29 plan as your starting point. And then once you choose the $29 plan, they'll charge you later on. So you do want to add a card to this account. And then once you do that, you're going to go to a place after you've selected the plan that you're going to choose, the amount you're going to pay, and then you add a card. That's the card they're going to charge your monthly subscription to. So there is a fee for Shopify. You can start off with the 14-day trial. So orders, if you've been running your business outside of Shopify for a while, you can add information in here for orders that need to be shipped or that need to be processed. So you can put all your orders information in here. Here's where you will add products. And so adding your products, it is actually fairly simple. You will do some of the same things that you do on the other platforms, like Amazon or eBay or Etsy, like you're going to use, or Walmart. You're going to use your keywords, of course. You'll name the product or name the whatever it is of the product that you're selling, and then make sure that you also name the images that you upload, because again, Google is king when it comes to search engines, and they will display products that are being sold. And if your information is there, if you've integrated it in your social media or it finds it organically, because you named it the image file. So the example would be, name the image file, sorry. The example would be the dog leashes. So whatever you're going to call it, if it is called just dog leashes, make sure you save the images as dog leash underscore, dog underscore leash underscore one or -1, because this is your first dog leash. If it is a specific brand name, or if it is for a specific type of dog, so you could put small dog leash, big dog leash, and you'll name the image pictures themselves that. And you can call it small dog leash number 1, small dog leash number 2, and maybe it's a side view of something, small dog leash number 3, and maybe it's the back view of something, whatever you want to call it. Just name the images. That, I think, is an opportunity that people are often overlooking. You can import your customers. Again, if you've already been selling, you can bring those customers into your Shopify store. And then you can look at, once you have some data, you can see your analytics for your Shopify store. And then after we've gone through a few different things, you're going to be prompted to go through and figure out your whole theme situation for your Shopify store. So when you come to this page, you're going to scroll down just a little bit to get to it, and you're going to choose a theme. You can choose free themes or paid themes. So you can start with the free themes and maybe move to the paid. There's quite a few free things that people have been able to make work for them. So just giving you that heads up. If you go into themes to assign the theme, then just keep in mind that it's going to show you some of your free themes, which we talked about. And then you also have, when you go to Shopify themes, you're going to see an option for all themes or specific themes. Under all things, you can choose which theme you think you like. And again, using the product that you're doing the comparison on is going to help you in that area. So you can choose the theme and add the theme. And then now your theme is available on your store. It's been added, and you'll see that a theme is attached. Okay. All right, the next thing is your domains. So I told you, I don't recommend you buying a domain through Shopify, that you buy your own domain. It's always going to be better because then you can do whatever you need to do with your store versus having to work with somebody else to do whatever it is you want to do. And maybe they're only limited by what they can and cannot do. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to stop right there. We're going to come back in our next part 2, and we're going to continue out setting up your Shopify store. Once we continue out setting up your Shopify store, we're also going to talk about some of the marketing strategies and what we can do to, make it easy for people to either find some of your products or find you online. There is paid traffic that's involved in Shopify, but again, there's also the opportunity for organic traffic. So if you've built an audience, you've got a group of influencers that you've been working with, they know who you are. Maybe you can negotiate, hey, I'm starting up a business. Can you help me out? Can you broadcast it out to your group of 2,000 or 13,000 or whatever the number happens to be? All right. So we're going to call it from here. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers Academy, and come back for part 2 of Shopify next week. We're going to say goodbye for now. Okay, so with that being said, let me try to, there's the control panel. And we're going to see if there's any questions. So this is your opportunity to ask questions in the Facebook group. If you are part of eCom Sellers Academy, you'll be able to ask questions directly in the Facebook group, and we'll do our best to answer them. I'm sure that there are other leaders that may be standing by, so it doesn't necessarily have to be Shopify specific. It can be some other topic. So if you have questions, let us know, and we'll go from there. So let me just see. We go to the Facebook group. It's thinking about it. All right, let's see what questions, if we have any. All right, you can ask your questions directly in the Facebook groups. I'll stop sharing. Or underneath the comment section. So you can ask them under the comment section. Just go ahead and click and ask the question. Let us know what it is. And it doesn't have to be specific to Shopify. It can be something else. And if you don't want to ask any questions now, that's fine. You can always schedule a one-on-one coaching session for 20 minutes, or you can type your questions in the comments, or you can shoot us an email, and we would be happy to answer your questions because we want you to succeed. All right. I all of a sudden got stuffy. I was eating and then all of a sudden everything got stuffy. I'm like, what does that mean? Everything is stuffy, like very quickly got stuffy. Oh man. All right. Well, we will get started. Part 2 of the workshop. So bring your notebook and pad, and we're going to continue on. We're going to start with shipping and continue with your setup. Then from there, we will talk about your marketing and some different ways you can market. We'll also come back around and talk about some more ideas around sourcing for your Shopify store. And we'll look at a few Shopify stores. So I hope this information is helpful, guys. And I hope you know that we really do want you all to succeed. So, okay, I am going to sign off. Don't forget, type your questions in the chat. We are here to help you. So let us know what we can do to serve you, support you, help you on your e-commerce journey. Because right now is a great time to put together your game plan, definitely. And if you don't have stuff listed, Prime Day is coming, which means that all the tides rise for all ships when Prime Day hits, which means every platform is going to go hog wild. People are going to get sales on every platform just randomly and organically. So make sure you start listing your stuff. Make it a goal to, if you haven't been consistent about listing, try to list 5 things a day. I mean, from right now until after Prime Day. 1, it'll help you build that habit of consistency. And 2, it'll help you get some sales organically just because Prime Day is happening. So, okay, I'll talk with you all later. You have a blessed one.